For more insight on the Iranian Foreign Minister, Araghchi arrives in Muscat for talks. We're joined by the former Turkish diplomat, Dr. Cemal Sangu, live from Ankara. Sir, thank you so much and welcome back again. So the Iranian Foreign Minister, Abbas Araghchi, is in Muscat for talks centred on the Strait of Hormuz. How significant is this visit for regional diplomacy?
Well, I think this visit is highly significant because the focus of regional diplomacy has now shifted beyond the nuclear issue to maritime security and the future of the Strait of Hormuz. Oman has traditionally played a unique mediating role between Iran and United States, and Foreign Minister Araghchi's visit suggests that both sides recognize the urgent need to prevent further instability in one of the world's most strategic waterways. At a time when tension remains very high across the Gulf, the Muscat talks represent an important opportunity to reopen diplomatic channels and reduce the risk of miscalculation. Ultimately, the success or failure of the Muscat talks will have implications far beyond Iran and Oman, as stability in the Strait of Hormuz remains essential for regional security and global economy.
And sir, the discussions are expected to focus on implementing navigation arrangements under the Islamabad Memorandum. Can Oman realistically help bridge the remaining differences between Iran and the US?
Certainly, Oman is perhaps the regional actor best positioned to facilitate such dialogue. Muscat, previously we know, enjoys the trust of both Tehran and Washington and has repeatedly demonstrated its ability to host sensitive talks and sensitive negotiations. Having said that, the remaining finance differences are substantial. Questions related to maritime security, sanctions, regional influences, and mutual confidence cannot be resolved overnight. Nevertheless, I believe Oman can play an essential role in creating practical arrangement that would allow both sides to move forward step by step under the framework of the Islamabad Memorandum. In the end, Oman may not be able to resolve every disagreement, but it can provide diplomatic space necessary for trust and dialogue to gradually replace confrontation.
And so, after weeks of military escalation in the Gulf, do these talks indicate that both sides are prioritizing diplomacy over further confrontation?
I think the very fact that these talks are taking place is itself an encouraging sign. After weeks of military tensions, neither Iran nor United States appears to favor an uncontrolled escalation that could destabilize the entire region. At the same time, diplomacy remains fragile. Recent events have already demonstrated that military pressure and negotiations often proceed simultaneously in the Middle East. Therefore, while the Muscat talks reflect a renewed diplomacy effort, they should not yet be interpreted as a definite breakthrough. Ultimately, while diplomacy has returned to the table, the coming weeks will reveal whether the region is entering a period of de-escalation or merely a temporary pause in a much broader geopolitical confrontation.
Iran says its scientific and research infrastructure suffered around $300 million in damage during the conflict.
Yes.
How could these losses affect Iran's technology ambitions and its long-term recovery?
Well, these losses are significant because modern scientific infrastructure is not easily replaced. Research centers, laboratories, and technological facilities require years of investment, highly skilled personnel, and international cooperation. Beyond the immediate military dimension, wars also carries significant scientific, economic, and social costs. I believe damage to research institutions and technological infrastructure may affect Iran's long-term development, particularly in the areas related to higher education, innovation, and industrial capacity. Moreover, rebuilding such infrastructure requires substantial financial resources at a time when Iran is already facing sanctions, economic pressure, and in this sense, the consequences of conflict extended far beyond the battlefield. History has repeatedly shown that rebuilding scientific and technological capacity after conflict is a long and costly process, making stability and international cooperation indispensable for Iran's future development.
And so, looking ahead, what concrete outcomes should we watch for from the Muscat talks, and could they help reduce tensions in the Strait of Hormuz?
Well, I think there are three issues to watch closely. First, whether the parties can agree on particular mechanism to guarantee freedom of navigation and security of commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. Second, whether they can establish confidence-building measures to avoid possible diplomatic engagement and military incidents. And third, whether the current discussions can create momentum for broader diplomatic engagement, diplomatic discussions. Ultimately, any progress in Muscat would not only reduce tensions in the Strait of Hormuz, but could also contribute to wider regional stability. Sustainable peace, however, will depend on continued dialogue, mutual restraint, and political willingness of all parties to prioritize diplomacy over confrontation. Finally, lasting security in the Strait of Hormuz cannot be achieved through military measures alone. It will depend on sustained diplomacy, mutual confidence, and shared commitment to regional peace and stability.
Mr. Cemal, thank you so much. Appreciate your time today.